Hello everyone, my name is Femi. I'm an Open Academy student. This is my final demo video. So I've been working on the project's um, RB-Gateway, Review Board Gateway architecture, webhook architecture. So my previous project was the one with the RB-Tools Shell command. I wrapped that up, finished some test cases for it, and I've also been concurrently working on this project. And this project is meant to add webhook support to RB Gateway, which is a service for managing your repositories. It could be your Git repositories, Mercurial repositories, Perforce, so on. So kind of one of the basic things to do with a webhook is to register it. So you'll see in this configuration.json file that kind of describes the configuration of the RB Gateway server. I have these dummy webhooks put in place. Try to ignore them. I'm just using them as a buffer for the page because my password is put near towards the top. So the way you would register a new webhook is I'm going to use this tool here called Postman, which allows me to put things in the header. So I generated a private token. I set some things about it. So I want this to be enabled. I want the URL of the webhook to point to a certain place. I'm going to point to this URL right now. I'll explain that later. I designate some events for it to trigger on. So one of them is git commit made. These are kind of placeholder events that I've come up with. They're probably not going to be the final ones, but when it comes to the webhooks, there's usually some like set of events that are defined and known throughout the system and stuff like that. So it's going to be based on that, and it will apply to certain repositories defined in the configuration on JSON. So there's one called Review Board RB Gateway, and there's a couple here, Trace and Jerga, that are personal repositories of mine. So I'll also put Trace, and then the payload will be payload, and we'll make a post request, and let's see what happens here. Okay, the server is not started. All right, let me run it. This is a bash alias. Forgot to run the server, but now, oh, also this needs to be taken away. Okay, so there we have finally our new registered webhook. So that's ready to work with making posts and stuff like that. So let's say that I wanted to change it to, like, maybe change the payload message or whatever. So I could say this is a payload or something. So I'll make a put request, and then I'll specify the ID of the webhook that I want. So in this case, it's 5, and I send it, and there's been changed in the file, and also it returned to me the JSON representation. Let me make one more webhook just for demonstration purposes. True, that's there's also another one called git comments made. These events don't really do anything right now. I'll come back to them later as well, but events need to be defined for for webhooks some way. I'll make this work on just trace or something. Okay, let's see. Okay, so another one's been created. So for making events, for demo purposes, I've sort of hard coded a way of making webhook posts. I'm still working on they can make the post, but events aren't finished yet. So there needs to be some kind of communication between events and signals that I haven't really all the way gotten into yet. But the way it would work is there'd be like an observer architectural pattern where webhooks subscribe to an events subscriber list, and once something happens or that events happens, it notifies all the webhooks to make their post requests and stuff like that. So that's underway. So let's I've made this route called trigger that allows me to kind of simulate what it would be like. So I specify the repository where this event is coming from, so RB Gateway, and then I also have to specify the type of signal. So let's say I want RB Gateway, and I want to make a get comment made or commit made event. So run that, and we see that it made a post request the webhook. It made a post request sending its payload, and I just wrote a little quick thing that it was just like echo back whatever it got as a payload. Also, there is, so I can put trace here and get commit made. Let's send that, see what happens. All right, so we got the same thing again. And then let's see what happens when I have a comment made. This is, so the first you said this is a payload, this is a payload, and then this is like another payload, and then my trace and RB gateway. So that's the way it works basically. So that's what this this fire URL was for. It was sort of the where the URL the webhook would post to. So what needs to be wrapped up with this are the events. They would eventually need RB Gateway to kind of do more besides just getting things, because right now most of what RB Gateway does is like, oh, get this file for me, get this commit for me. It doesn't really allow you to change much about your repositories. Once that is underway, then the events will sort of be more fleshed out and will make more sense. All right, thanks for watching.